Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this week's Astro Oracle reading. This is where you get your personal reading for the week upcoming, and it couples up with yesterday's overarching reading and for the collective, and you put these two things together and you're going to get a lot of detail about what you're going to be experiencing this week upcoming. So we start with Aries. One thing you need to know is what your sun sign is, what your ascendant is, and what your moon is in order to make it really intimate for you. If you don't know what that is, go to astro.com, put your birth data in there, and you'll get the information that you need, okay? Now, Aries is our first sign of the zodiac, and everybody goes in sequence. So let's take a look at Aries. And if you're Aries sun, Aries rising, or Aries moon, you're going to pay attention to this reading, okay? So, that's nice for Aries this week. Okay, so Aries, you have three cards here. One is the Spirit of Gratitude, Merry Motive, and Roots of Abundance. So we have Spirit, then we have your identity and how you work with your personal power, and then you have your first energy, which relates to materialism and how you deal with the material world. This is actually quite a good week that you're invited to step into with gratitude. If you maintain the sense of gratitude for this week coming up, you're going to recognize that everything that you do, everything that you are gathered towards, right, where you feel an impulse towards. And actually, we cover all this kind of stuff in our 7 Energies Challenge, which starts in a couple of days, actually, on the 14th. But you'll recognize that there's a correlation between all the things that you've been through and how you behave now. So this is an opportunity for you to take a look at that and see really what is the root of your abundance, right? So you're going to start to recognize like, oh, I want more of this. And so if you keep focusing only on the difficult things, that's what you're going to get more of. So you really, really want to be able to readjust your vision. But truly, if you enter into this with gratitude, I think you're going to be just fine. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Taurus next. And that's if you have Taurus sun, Taurus rising, or Taurus. Here's my shuffling. I have the journal. Do you guys have my journal? It's such a great journal. We're going to be giving those away when we do our challenge this week. And it's totally free, by the way. You can join us. Just join us. We're going to go through every one of the energies, get you realigned and re-energized. I think it's time for spring. Okay, so Taurus, here we go. Taurus begins with a burst of magic. Nice. Also, Spirit is primary for you this week. And then Great Big Love, that's the heart, and Shining Through, which was one of the main cards that I talked about in yesterday's collective reading, the forecast for the week. So this is really nice. And if you have seen yesterday's video, you know that it's an intense week. So here, this is how you mitigate that tension and intensity, is to really get playful with Spirit. And remember that the synchronicities in your life that you've had already up until now can prove to you that you've never been left behind. You've never been abandoned by Spirit. You might have by yourself. And this is also about unconditional love and trusting that you have more love than you know to spread to others and also to yourself. And this is a reminder as well that Spirit shines through you. So we have Spirit, heart, and self-expression. And so when we say I shine on behalf of the divine, and that's a big piece of what we're looking at this week, is what we're invited to experience is that we are emissaries of the divine and that everything that we do or say has an impact on others. And so this is actually a pretty interesting week for Taurus because you're being invited into this magical relationship to Spirit and how that plays out in your relationships with others. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to look at Gemini. Here we go, Gemini. Gemini needs to quiet the mind. All my Gemini friends would probably relate to that. So this is about expression. This one here is about identity, the powerful move, and a deep breath is all about your relationship to material world and fear. So for Gemini this week, you'll need to pay particular attention to how you are thinking and how you ruminate over things. Like, are you actually overthinking about the things that are not working, as opposed to being strategic and making choices, making strategic choices that will help you get out of fear. This was the card that was crowning us for the week as well, too. This was the highest card that we had in the Celtic Rocks yesterday. So we know that we're being invited to move beyond our fear, choosing a life that is greater than our fear. And this is very prominent for you, Gemini, this week. And so that's if you have sun sign, rising sign, or moon in Gemini. Now let's take Cancer. Hi, Mark. Mark is behind the camera. Come and say hi.
Mark is behind the camera.
This is for Cancers, Mark, which is moi.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. When an Aries and a Cancer gets together, what are you going to do?
You know what I always say?
What? Oh, here he comes. He's going to do something cute. I know it. What is it? What are you going to do?
So when an Aries and a Cancer gets together...
Cancer wins.
Most times. So...
What happens?
Aries is fire. Cancer is water.
Steamy.
So together, very steamy.
Steamy. But I have 7 planets in fire.
Oh.
So I meet you in the fire.
There you go.
It's just true, right? He has more earth
As
and
long as you
water.
don't
He's
put
way
too
more
much-
balanced.
Don't put too much water on my fire, because when it happens...
I know. Splosh. Mud.
You put
No,
me
not
out.
mud.
You put me
I
out.
put the fire out. That's
right.
right. I know.
And if I burn too hot, you evaporate.
You're so bad. Get away. Go away. Oh my gosh. Okay, Cancers. Here we go. You're so funny. It's nice to be married to your best friend. It really is. Willing release, again, spirit, sacred reverence, spirit again, and earth magic, which is the relationship to the material world. Okay, so we know surrender is the first card. Willing release, it's surrendering to what is. It's about radical acceptance and trusting that the invisible is in charge, that we may not be able to see right away the evidence that good things are happening, or that that we're safe, protected, any of those things. That typical Cancerian, which is the mother, it's very, the nurturer, and the sense of needing that safety, that safe place. And sacred reverence is a call for Cancerians to remember the sacred in all beings, right? So the all is in the small. There is life. And as an animist, I believe in that myself personally. I believe that everything has a spirit and has a soul, including this card deck. So for Cancers this week, again, seeing the world through the eyes of spirit.
You better not say that.
What?
Colette. Last time you said that.
What?
Last time you said
What?
that the card decks had a spirit in them, everybody believed that, oh my God.
They had an independent spirit like Chucky. No,
Chucky.
They don't have an independent spirit that can open the box and walk out of the box. No, that when we know that they animate with us, they have a connection to us.
Yes.
I know we did have some people going, oh, there's a booger,
Yeah, so I had to set that straight, just
Just
in case.
in case. So yes,
Okay.
that is
All
not
right.
what I am saying. Yes, there is not a spirit in the deck that's going to be able to open the box at your house and come out and walk around, okay? No, but...
Go away.
Okay, let's move on to Leo, okay? So, and
did you
Cancers
say
need to get grounded also, the last card, the earth magic. It's just about remember to get grounded and stay grounded in spirit, and the rest of the world will fall into place. Thank you, Mark. That is pretty funny, though. We have had that. Yeah. Same thing with the word channeling. Like when I say I channel my decks, I don't channel an entity. It's like my ego's out of the way and I feel like the creativity is moving through me. That's what that means. But people take these things actually quite literally sometimes. So always have to remember. Okay, here we go, Leos. Here we go, Leos. Spirit of gratitude, also spirit first. Spirit second, beyond the ordinary. That's also a card that was at the basis of the reading, the overarching reading for everybody this week. And then Awakening Genius was about expression. Leo, this is fantastic because you are generous. That's just the way you are. Very flamboyant, generous, big-hearted, etc. And when you move in with a spirit of gratitude for even the things you cannot see, right? You know, you just can't see everything that's going on, but you just know that if you are grateful and you step into the world with gratitude, amazing things can happen. And of course, that alone awakens your genius and your capacity to express and contribute to the world where you feel really fulfilled. So although we mentioned the week is intense coming up, right? We do know that from yesterday's reading, but this does say, hey, you're in the magic. You're in that flow of magic. So you can really move into your creative flow this week, Leos. And now let's look at Virgo. Okay, here we go. Now, Virgos. Ta-da! Earth magic for Virgo. Starting with getting grounded in the material reality that you have, being like really get that you're in a body and you need to take care of that body. Opening to discovery is about your expression, and then great and full is the also two. So basically Virgo, you've got Earth, 2 Earth cards in one. We're looking at how you express yourself, but this is really about your curiosity. So nice week for you, Virgo, in terms of knowing that your needs will be met, although your wants may not be, and knowing rejection is God's protection, and then discovering like, well, maybe there's something else for me that I don't know, right? So you might be exploring, and that's actually the best attitude for the week, is through, you know, the concept of curiosity and exploration, discovering something new as opposed to falling back on what you know already. Nice grounded week for Virgos. And there you go. That's if you're a Virgo sun, if you're a Virgo rising, or if you're Virgo moon. Now let's take a look at Libra. So Libra, 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 here we go. Feeling the world, a sacred reverence and a higher view. Okay, so now it's an interesting reading for you Libras, given that you've really got to watch yesterday's reading, you guys. If you haven't watched it, this will all make better sense as to how it all fits into yesterday's reading for everybody's energy. So for Libras, you have to be very careful that you don't get overwhelmed by other people's stuff this week. You want harmony. There may not be harmony the way you want it. So recognize that, and this is, again, the second energy of intimacy and connections. And this is about spirit, so sacred reverence, recognizing that every single person has their own destiny. They have their unique path. So, you know, see others without judgment, but remember that you have to set some nice boundaries. Otherwise, you'll spill all over the place. You won't know where you end and other people begin. And this is also lovely because it's an invitation to basically, we say, get on your bird, which is to get into that sense of being a witness, not taking the world personally, wearing the world loosely on your shoulders and observing the outer world, and recognizing that every person is in their own bubble in a way and having their own personal stories that may not be the same as yours. And that's okay. So this is a beautiful week of radical acceptance and boundary setting for Libras. Very interesting. And now we see Scorpio. I always think of my friend Aisha. If you're watching this, hey Aisha. Scorpios. Let's see what's in store for you. Endless possibilities and the land between. And what? I'm hearing dinging. Okay, a tall tale. That's okay, Mark. You're dinging away there. Now, you have 2 cards that relate to your imagination and your intuition. So this is not about linear at all. A linear experience, it's more about a contemplative perspective of many of the things that you want to call into reality, but recognizing that they're not there yet. And there's a warning to stay out of denial about those things. So you do have a tall tale, which I call my creepy Pinocchio card. Which is how I said to Jen, I want you to make me a really creepy Pinocchio card, which is really about lying. Doesn't mean you're lying, but it means that this is about uncovering truths, but also recognizing when you are in denial and you haven't accepted something as it is. It's kind of like that wishful thinking. So stay out of that and just keep flowing and going is for the Scorpios. Now let's look at Sagittarius. I love that every time I talk about a sign, I can imagine who my friends are. And I know literally everybody, every single person for every single sign. At least 2 or 3 people. Okay, here we go. Friends and acquaintances. Sag. Let's look at Sag. A deep breath. So Sag, you're coming in with the fear and a tender embrace and a rose's kiss. Okay, this is beautiful. So you have one card relating to having to move out of that fight flight. So we already know that that's what everybody's working on this week, or that's the invitation, is to discover ways in which you can get grounded. And extra care for yourself, Sagittarius, this week. There's a sense of like real self-care is really important, and to be tender and kind and compassionate to others as well. This is not the week for being blunt. And then we have a rose's kiss. I always call the rose's kiss is about the sensual quality of life. So it's about taking a bath, like paying attention to what you're eating, really slowing down and engaging the sensuality of being in a body. And so this is important that you allow yourself that this week, Sagittarius. It'll help mitigate some of the intensity of the week. Okay. I love these cards. I do. I love all my cards, and it's when I work with this one, and I'm really excited. I hope you're going to join me for the 7 Energies Challenge. That's in a couple of days. On the 14th, it's totally free. It goes for 7 days, and then we have this great attunement on the 8th day. What, Mark?
And they can join right now.
Oh, you can join us right now. There's links if you don't want to keep listening to me. Ha! There's a link somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I know you'll know because you'll be able to see that I can't see. And here we go. Beyond the ordinary. Nice. You start again in spirit. And there's some guilt there. Ooh. So you have very interesting for you Capricorns this week. So you've got to know, you start with spirit. So we all know that we are all fostering our relationship with spirit first. It's our primary relationship. And you need to forgive yourself here. This is about the illusion of projection that you would say, for example, you got a story. You heard a story about something and you've taken it on and whatever, but you never saw what was outside of what the container was that you got, right? You got a half a story. And here it's looking like, oh, wow, I bought into something I shouldn't have, or it's like, and again, this could be anything. It's like, it's not having all the facts is what it's saying, and not trusting that there's more to what meets the eye, right? So that's really what you have to remember, is that there's way more than meets the eye. And it's okay for you to have like done what you thought was best, etc. Now you got to let yourself off the hook. This is the other one, because this is all about guilt when it doesn't really serve you. So you want to let yourself out of the prison of your own making so you can make amends and start again. And here, this is also about the illusion of projection. So somebody might have done that to you, for example, like somebody might have projected online or whatever, or again, the idea that we're all in our own separate narratives, our bubbles. We have our own stories, and your story may not match with somebody else's story. I think it's a week for good inventory for Capricorns. It's a week for extra self-love. And you got to remember, we're all in this together, and sometimes shit happens, right? So you got to really pull yourself back up and go, you know what? I'm going to trust that that spirit is everywhere. I don't know what this is about, but I do know that if I put my personal relationship with spirit as my primary one, everything else will fall into place, including the illusions that I didn't know were illusions and the things that I kind of signed up for that, well, maybe it wasn't the best choice. Who cares? You get to start again this week, okay? That's what that's saying. Now we're going to look at Aquarius this week for you. A deep breath. You're also starting in fear, a higher view, and feeling the world. So Aquarius. So Aquarius, you have a deep breath, which is the shadow of the first energy, about fear. Then we have a higher view, which is about being in the observer, which is again intuition, imagination, detached observer. And then we have feeling the world, which is the card in the second energy that relates to too much intimacy, or that you're feeling overwhelmed. So the fear and the overwhelm together. The way out is to get on your bird, I say, or get into a place where you're realizing, hey, this is not personal to me at all. Some of your old stories could get triggered, and we talk about that, by the way, in the challenge this week. So you really want to know in your mind that, So I've been triggered and I'm feeling feelings that my original feelings were when I was a kid. And I realize now that this is not necessarily the appropriate reaction to what's going on in front of me, but I need to honor my feelings no matter what they are, because maybe you could have repressed your feelings. With this card feeling too much and this card, feeling fear, you could be overwhelmed by everything that's going on around you, and you're going to need to detach. And it is okay for you to detach this week, Aquarius. Okay, now let's take a look at, and take a breather too. I think it's an important time to take a breather and get focused on what you feel is important for you and not so much about fixing other people. Now, Pisces, let's take a look at our mystical Pisces. Quieting the mind for Pisces. Great big love for Pisces. And last but not least, we are looking at healing the heart. Okay, so you have 2 cards of the heart and you have 1 of the mind, or the expression of the expression or non-expression. So we start with that card because that's the first one. The anchor card is always the first card, and we want to remember for Pisces that you want to be in a state of meditation, dreaminess, that mystical state that is so easy for you and that is natural for you, and that is how you have to step into this week, is tuning into that quiet. Then you have like more space in you, and you really have a big heart this week. So expand your heart, show more kindness, compassion, care, love, phone a friend. You're really in a good position this week. As long as you stay quiet internally, you really have lots to offer. And you could be a bridge between, and an experience that in the past might have been hurtful. This is really about forgiveness in a way that's palpable and real and beautiful. And you do have an opportunity if you need to do that this week. And you're also going to see how you could contribute to the healing of the whole world as well. That sounds like a big task, but it's not really. We're all part of this. Okay. That's it for the Astro Oracle. I hope you were all going to, oh, here he comes. Join me.
I just want to make sure.
Here we go. You say it.
We haven't said it right.
Oh my gosh.
In a little while.
I'll say it right now.
So
I'm telling you, I don't know where all my brain cells are.
7 Energies Challenge, which starts this Wednesday. You can join. There's a link right here
You can join right now.
somewhere around here.
Can we tell
You can join through that link,
We have a
and it's
Facebook-
called 7 Easy Days to Realign Your Energies and Reclaim an Abundant Life.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Well, it's a 7 Energies Challenge.
But it's really easy.
It's really called It's Easy.
7
It is
easy
easy.
days.
It's very
Realign.
easy.
We meditate. What else do we do?
Yeah, we have some really poignant and potent questions. They're like they look small, but they're deep, and you will really get something out of it. So every day for 7 days, we're going to meet. I'm going to lead all of us in each energy. I will remember the energies. I trust I will.
Yes, you will.
I'm not kidding. Well, just in case, he'll be here to help.
I will?
No, I can do it without you.
Yes.
So we're going to be.
I'll dance or something like that. No?
No, that would be, no.
No fun. What did you do? I must go now. I'm leaving now.
It's gotta go now.
You're throwing me under the bus.
No, I'm not. Oh my gosh. Hey everybody, I hope you like this video. Leave a comment if you want to. We love reading them, and subscribe to my channel.